everyone, and welcome to today's video where I'll be showing you how I achieve this hairstyle. It's sort of a very cute and fun style, can go well with a lot of eras. We've got a bundle of fluff curls at the back and then some fun sculpted feature curls at the front. This is a great way if you're growing out your fringe to sort of incorporate your fringe into a vintage style which isn't having straight across bangs. So I've also recorded my wet setting pattern for this using pin curls. I may or may not have that in a separate video, so we'll just see how the editing process goes and how long they turn out. So the tools I used for styling this was just my favourite Die Hard flat brush here, some hairspray. I have quite an extreme, the got to be glued one. I would really recommend if you have something a bit softer, like maybe an L-net to be working with, and then use this as a finishing spray. And then I've got pin curl clips and bobby pins. So that's all you need, and realistically you could probably do it just with bobby pins if you didn't have pin curl clips. And welcome back to part 2, which is the styling. I'm not sure if this is going to be 2 videos yet or 1, so we'll have to see. I now have completely dry hair. It's been drying for a little over 20 hours. But usually it's fine just overnight for a damp hair set. So I'm going to start by taking all my pins out, starting at the bottom. One thing I didn't mention at the end of my setting part was that I gave the whole thing a little spray with hairspray. I don't have any, setting spray or even any mousse or anything at the moment, so I'm finding hairspray is just, it's something to give it a little bit of hold, more than the water. My hair is so straight naturally that just water doesn't cut it for me, even though my hair is quite colour treated. I've also opened my wardrobe, so maybe that makes the background a little more interesting. So I'm taking them out, just sort of pull them a little bit just to make sure they're actually loose. So I'm going to be releasing all of my curls except for my front 2 fringe ones to start off with. Some of my curls are looking quite sort of messy and rugged. It's just because I slept on them and I don't have, like a silk or satin headscarf, so it was just against the rough cotton of my pillow. So that's all the curls released. Now we're just going to give it a finger brush through. I'm glad it's looking quite nice and tight. You can see some sort of nice wave patterns wanting to come through. Wish I wasn't doing a fluff curls look, because this set would have been great for some sort of finger wave action. Really giving it good pull through, especially because I'm going for fluff curls, so I want it to be quite, full and bushy. We're only really brushing down the top layer for this. The back. This would also be a great base for sort of a 1930s hairstyle. We're quite lifted, quite fluffy. So it's just sort of a standard paddle brush with a short layer of bristles and then some longer plastic ones. I'm not sure if the main ones are synthetic or not. I presume so. It was just, I bought it at the pharmacy a year ago. Just gonna give that a light brush through. Not trying to do any molding or sculpting, just smoothing it out. Getting the inside as well. Oh, look at that. That's such a great wave, and I'm going to destroy it doing this hairstyle. At least there isn't a matching one, so I couldn't be too sad about it. Oh, I've taken my selfies. Now I'm just going to take the hair back a little bit with my hand and clip it so it's out of the way so we can start on the fringe. As you can see, just clipping it back, it's really starting to get that fluff. And I don't know, I love a fluff curl. It's just, it's way more me. Great, so we're just gonna pull those down. I originally set my hair like this the first time I did this style because I wanted to create a heart shape bang. I don't know if I'll be able to show you kind of what I mean. Like this was sort of wanting to curl like that, and I thought it would be so cute if I could get them to just do a little heart shape thing, but it wasn't working and it wasn't working, and I felt like my hair was turning into a bit of disaster, so but I ended up with this style which I'm showing you now. So just giving it a little brush through, making sure to, oh, I've got some of my other hair caught in there. Just making sure to brush it under and sort of keep it in that curled shape. Now, I don't remember the last time I tried to grow out my bangs. I think the last time I had bangs was 2013, 2014, and I honestly have no recollection of growing them out at all. All I knew is that I had them and then I didn't have them in some photos. I should probably take a look and see what I did. I don't think I did anything interesting with them like I'm trying to sort of do now. I work with one side at a time, just taking this side, leaving it in a curl sort of shape, pinning it down. Now, I really like the little pin curl clips for this bit, but I kind of wish I had slightly longer ones. I know you can get them. So this is sort of in a triangle shape, and I want to cut it down the middle, like that, for my two curls on this side. So this is all sort of hand molding, just to really get the curl to sit how you want. So I want it to sit, you know, quite low on my forehead, nice and smooth, and then just sandwich it in. It's okay if it drops a little bit with the weight of the clip. Just taking my other one, because the hair here is longer because it's from the furthest back part of my fringe, it is relatively easy to get the curl still fully formed but further out. Now these ends aren't looking too pretty, so I'm just gonna keep trying and molding them. I'll probably have a go at them with hairspray as well. So now taking this first one out, it's sort of, you know, starting to sit where I'd like, and giving it a light spritz of hairspray, using my fingers just to smooth it, mold it around, and I'm clipping it back into place. You know, I haven't given the hairspray fully time to dry, but I've just been able to use it to help sculpt things along. Same with the other side, a quick spritz. So unfortunately my camera decided to have a bit of a meltdown there, so I've done this one, but I'll show you how to do them on the other side as well. So I've got these two sitting here and setting, now getting nice and hardened up. I like to clip them at the top where the curl is just sort of peaking to keep everything together. And exactly the same thing on this side, because this is quite sort of a symmetrical hairstyle. Same thing, just halving that triangle from the parting. You know, I want to keep them with fairly similar amounts of hair. Just using the fingers to work that curl. This side is the side I have my cowlick with, so I have a real problem with it staying flat. It always kind of wants to puff up as it's doing now, so it does require a bit more hairspray in general. But it is forming the ideal curl I'm looking for. Might just pin this one out of the way. There we go, that's looking pretty symmetrical. Obviously I don't love having regrowth, but I actually think this style looks really cute having it, because the green sort of really pops as a feature against the brown. Now this part is also what helps with flyaways. Flyaways can be such a pain, especially with styles when you want, you know, really clean and crisp curls. So definitely a little spray, then immediately get to work moulding that as fast as you can using the heat of your fingers. Then clipping that down. I'm going to check on this one. It seems to have a weird little bobbly wavy bit of hair there. Hopefully I can sort that out. Great, so with the clips in, now I'm just going to start arranging them to make them as even as possible. I'm just going to pop in a clip at the top to try and smooth down my cowlick. Give them a final little blast, really focused just on that fringe area. And now those can really sit down while we work on the rest of the hair. This is the most simple bit, you know. Fluff curls are very easy to do, which is part of the reason I like them. So just taking your brush, brushing your hair smoothly and to the back. Sometimes if it's looking a bit too sort of smooth, I'll bring some of those back curls and I'll start to separate the top ones with my fingers, just to give it a little more mess and a little less structure. If you can see here, just breaking it up. So I don't have any of these, so I'm just going to use bobby pin, but ideally what you'd use is one of those sort of small toothed combs to just, you know, pop it up in there and lock it into place. Unfortunately I don't have any, so I will be using bobby pins. It's really hard to use bobby pins and try to keep it tidy looking, just because it's a lot of hair towards the back, so it can be sometimes too bulky. So I'm just gonna try to spread the hair, you know, along the whole back. I'm not just grouping it all here, I'm just smoothing it back and down. Great, so it's sort of where I want it to be. And again, you want to make an X with your bobby pins to secure them. Got one in there which I can feel. And then pop the other one there. Then I sort of like to push it up a bit, sometimes working my finger into the hair just to pull some out and give me a little bit of volume, you know, so it's not plastered down against my head. Now holding that in place, just lightly brushing through those curls, getting them to look how we want. Just sort of, you know, have a play moulding them. You can also pull some out and smooth them if you want a bit more, you know, definition. But I like to keep mine quite messy. Finger in there, just pulling ever so slightly. Right, I'm going to take my hairspray and I'm only going to do the scalp because I think I want to work on this a little bit more. So, just like that. And give it a smooth with your hands, trying to retain that volume too. So I'm just holding it at the back and smoothing it down with my other hand. And on to the other side. Just inserting my finger, getting a bit more volume there. So I'm just lightly pulling the top layer of my hair out. This side is actually looking almost perfect and exactly how I want off the bat, which is lovely. Little spritz. So I've just zoomed in a little bit, so hopefully it's a little easier to see. Also, you know, I thought I would be working more with my hair. So I've gotten to a point where I haven't done anything extra to these, but I think I'm quite happy with these little fluffy bundles now. So I'm going to show you how I sort of get the back looking nice. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. Right, so for the back you can see these little bits of hair here are lifting up. So I'm going to take these clips again. This is what ideally I would have a longer duckbill clip for, but we're working with what we've got. So I'm just feeling that bump, pressing my hair against my scalp, clipping it in. I'm just going to go around the whole edge. It's sort of the same concept as if you were to do a page boy. Just running my fingers through to just get those curls nice and fluffed. Taking my hairspray, spraying the back of my hair. And take your hands and smooth it down towards where you've got those pins in. Making sure to spray in that little trench there as well. And of course, spraying under the hair. And we're just going to let that set. A classic move is to forget that they're in and then go off to your dinner or party or work and leave them in. So I'm going to remember to take them out today. I really can't wait to refresh the dye on my hair because I don't really like that I have these two different sort of tones of green going on. It doesn't usually show up when I'm taking like selfies on my phone camera, but in person and in video you can clearly see this is like a dark sort of mossy foresty green, and then this is almost like an aqua green. It's kind of okay on this side as well. It's mainly I just have this really dark muddy section of moss green, which is usually at the front of my hair. What I mean about these areas getting messy is that it's really tempting to just keep loading in bobby pins until you're really happy. Like I'm kind of getting a bit of a weird bump there, and I feel like this hair isn't as secure. So luckily this fluff is covering up those pins. I'm just going to pop another one in, creating almost a zigzag just to anchor that hair. And I'll do the same on the other side. And again, crisscrossing them. You know, a fluff curl can hold a multitude of sins. To be honest, if we just flip around, I'd probably leave those in there if I was feeling really lazy or forgetful. You know, you wouldn't, only tall people would notice. So I'm going to take these bad boys out now, see how they're going. So I'm feeling like these two are looking really good. And this one I'm quite happy with as well. This one's just sort of almost spraying out a bit. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. A little hairspray on the ends and really pinching that together, helping it to set all nicely as one curl. Just going to pop one of these in as well. Just sandwich it. Yeah, I think that'll turn out better. I'm just going to leave that to sit for a little bit. Sometimes just to soften these from the hairspray, I will stretch them out a bit and let them sort of bounce back into place. Got a few little funny flyaways here, so I'm going to try and incorporate them to that curl. And as you can see, this one is trying to lift up. So I'm going to hairspray that section and pin it flat. I also have sort of something small and funky happening in there, so I might just give it another dash. Try and clip that flat so it's not rolling out. That's what it seems to be doing. This is a style that you do sort of want to take your time with as well, you know. It looks really, really cute when it's finished and really sort of, it's not effortless, it just looks so sculpted, and I think it's a really sort of fun, very traditional looking, sort of early 1940s, I would say, look. But honestly, I would wear this and I think you could get away with it with any kind of style from the 30s to the 50s. But if we're talking traditionally, I would say, you know, we're just coming out of the 30s with the fluff curl and we're starting to get sculptural with the 40s. So since these are setting again, we can take out the clips at the back. And I like to give it one final hairspray down just in case I missed any sections that were covered by the clips. And I'm sort of taking my hands, smoothing it like that. Like I'm sort of running down the ramp of my hair. And that's the back all done. If you don't have bangs, I would do this same sort of back styled look. And then you could do something like an infinity roll at the front or a suicide roll. You could even just brush your hair into it. I think it's a really cute, like, off your face look without, you know, anything happening here, if you can kind of envision that. So I've just popped some earrings in now that I'm finished with playing with the back and sides. I went with these cute little white ones with little rhinestones in them because I'm going for sort of, you know, a wintry theme. I don't know why, it's very hot in my room right now and we're going into summer and I wish we weren't. I have had the pleasure of having 2 winters back to back, and honestly I would love to just constantly travel and never experience summers ever again. Alright, so we're taking these pins out again. Oh, I like how this back one has sort of come up quite high. Maybe try and mirror that on the other side. Now these are just sort of the final touches, playing with them before you give them that last hairspray. Now something I did last time I did this style was put a sneaky little bobby pin to try and keep this down too. If you don't have a cowlick, then you are very blessed and won't have to do this, but I'm just trying to put that bobby pin under the top layer of hair so it's hidden and still trying to snag some of it. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Just trying to keep that down. You can also pull the curls out to soften the hairspray. This is where I wish I had 2 different kinds, because this one is so stiff it can really set in the hair and doesn't give you a lot to work with. I think when I do the final set of this one I'll just give it a little more spray to help those flyaways in the center. There we go, that is what I'm after. So just checking it's looking how you want it to. And it's time for the final spray. Just covering my eyes so I don't get, you know, hairspray unnecessarily over my face. Now these I would say give them a fairly decent amount of hairspray because you do want them to sit all day. These cute little feature curls. And there we have it. This is my vintage, I don't really know what you'd call it. You've got sort of fluff curls in the back and then you've got some feature curls in the front. You can see this lifting again. I don't think that bobby pin has really done the trick. It's so hard because I really don't want the bobby pin showing from the front, obviously. Like I could just clip it like that, but at least I have brown hair that actually was disguised more than I expected. I'm going to try and flatten it. Not catch the top layer of hair, but push it to the scalp. You can still see it poking in a couple of areas. If I can just... There, I think that's hidden. Perfect, and we're done. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial for a fluff and feature curl 40s look. Does that work? 40s feature and fluff curl. Maybe that's it. 40s feature and fluff curl look. But as I already mentioned, you know, I think you could wear this with you know, starting from the 30s, starting from the 40s, and starting from the 50s. It's a very cutesy little look. It's not just a page boy, it's got a little added something having these curls at the front. I think it's just such a darling hairstyle, and it's also fairly quick and easy. You know, fluff curls are really easy to just like sort of chuck back, smooth the top down, and then you're good to go. These take a little bit of extra care, but if you don't have a cowlick, it could be very easy for you. So yeah, I would love to see if you try this hairstyle out. Please find me on Instagram and tag me, because I absolutely love this. I've been wearing my hair like this quite often now, or a variation of it. Sometimes I'll just brush my fringe to the side, but I just think this is great, and this is a great staple, and it keeps your hair off your face, and it's easy to maintain in sort of, you know, like bad weather or humidity. It's all bundled together so you won't have anything dropping too clearly. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. I am trying to make more, and I'm hopefully going to keep it going after all of this quarantine and COVID-19 stuff. I'm finding it really fun, and I love being able to share, you know, sort of my vintage techniques and style and information with people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.